Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because we've got a truly remarkable story to unpack. All right, let's just jump right in. Today we're breaking down the anatomy of success through this powerful motivational fable about a boy named Kabir. Now, this isn't just some simple bedtime story. It's a profound, literal blueprint for how to protect your ambitions when the world is telling you that you've got absolutely zero right to dream. We're going to map out exactly how an impossible vision becomes a reality.
And that brings us to the core question driving today's explainer. How can a boy with empty pockets achieve big things? I mean, it's the ultimate underdog scenario, right? We're going to dive deep into how to overcome crushing, limiting expectations, and we'll be using Kabir's story as our absolute masterclass. Because, well, when you start with literally nothing, the mechanics of success, they have to look a little different.
Okay, Section 1. The boy with nothing, starting at rock bottom.
Let's set the scene here. Kabir's starting baseline wasn't just, a typical struggle. The kid was in a state of severe deprivation. His pockets were completely empty, his shoes literally had holes in them, and his school bag was totally torn up. This was a boy who often went to bed hungry. But the adversity wasn't just personal, it was a heavy family burden too. His mother was very sick, and they completely lacked the money for her medicine. On top of that, his father was an aging, poor farmer working tirelessly under the blistering sun, only to come home empty-handed. This was the immense, suffocating gravity of the situation that Kabir woke up to every single day.
Now, when you're in a situation like that, the world generally expects you to shrink, right? The village believed his reality completely dictated his possibilities. They tell him, hey, you should only think about earning bread for the next day. And when Kabir actually shared his dreams, people literally laughed at him. No way he could pull it off, they thought. But Kabir held a completely different view. Deep down inside, he possessed this unyielding, stubborn desire to do something big, to change destiny. He just inherently believed his future wasn't limited to his present condition. And honestly, this clash of mindsets is where the true friction of our story really begins.
Moving on to Section 2, the lesson of the mirror, shifting mindsets.
So you might be wondering, how does a young boy bridge that massive gap between those two mindsets? Well, down by the river, Kabir happens to meet an old, wise teacher named Guruji. Seeing Kabir all troubled by the mockery of the villagers, Guruji hands him a mirror. But this wasn't about checking his hair or his physical appearance. Guruji asked Kabir what he saw. At first, Kabir just saw the pain in his own eyes, the pain of hunger, the pain of his mother's sickness. But then, Guruji asked him to look deeper. He used that mirror as a reflective tool to literally force Kabir to look past his physical suffering and spot the powerful hidden fire staring right back at him.
Guruji imparts this absolutely vital lesson, telling him, this fire is your belief. If you protect it, it will light your path even in the darkest nights. Let's just pause on that for a second. The crucial takeaway here is that belief isn't just some passive, fleeting thought. It is a fire. And like any fire, it can be blown out if it's left exposed to the harsh elements, or it can become a brilliant beacon, but only if you protect it and actively feed it with courage and discipline.
But Guruji doesn't just stop there. He gives Kabir a really practical metaphor. He warns him that the naysayers and the village skeptics, they act like dust. They're going to actively try to cover his mirror, making him believe he isn't enough, just constantly dimming his reflection. And what's the antidote to dust? Action. The dust equals the naysayers, and you must keep cleaning it with your actions. You can't just wish the dust away, right? You have to physically wipe it clean every single day by proving them wrong through your sheer effort.
All right, Section 3. The price of a dream. Taking action.
So, what does taking action actually look like when your pockets are completely empty? Well, it looks like a relentless, grueling routine. In the morning, Kabir attended school. Pretty normal so far. But in the evening, he was grinding away at a small tea shop, washing glasses and serving customers. On the weekends, when everyone else was kicking back and resting, he was out there helping a local mechanic just so he could learn new skills. And at night, when the entire village was dead asleep, Kabir sat under this dim little light and studied with absolute full focus. He actively sacrificed sleep, comfort, and sometimes even food just to keep his engine running. This brutal routine, that was his way of executing Guruji's advice. This is exactly how he was cleaning the dust through action. I mean, he read every single book he could possibly get his hands on. He relentlessly practiced his writing. He made sure to learn from every mistake he made at the tea shop or with the mechanic. And most importantly, he didn't just dream of barely passing his classes, he dreamed of becoming something vastly greater. Every single page he read, every single glass he washed, that was a swipe of the cloth, cleaning the dust off his mirror and keeping that inner fire burning bright.
Which brings us to Section 4, from pennies to an empire, compounding effort.
You see, when you apply that kind of relentless execution over years, all that effort begins to compound into this massive snowball of success. Let's look at the steps. After years of saving every single rupee with extreme care, step 1, he started a small mobile repair business in a tiny corner of the village. Eventually, step 2, he opened a small electronics shop. And notice the key behavior here. He treated every customer with immense respect and reinvested every single bit he earned. With strong will and smart planning, step 3, he expanded from 1 shop to 3. And finally, step 4, he launched his very own brand of mobile accessories. From washing tea glasses to launching a whole brand, it's a stunning escalation of scale. And the whole shebang was built on the foundation of that relentless daily routine.
And honestly, the cosmic irony of his success is just stark. Think about it. Then, people literally laughed at his dreams. They told him to just focus on his next meal. But now, those exact same people are waiting outside his office, hoping for a chance to work for him. Talk about the ultimate shift in reality, right? By cleaning the dust off his mirror, he didn't just change his own life, he entirely flipped the power dynamic of his entire environment.
But you know, the empire and the fancy brand, those were not the true success here. His true success was that his mother finally received regular medical treatment and his aging father no longer had to break his back working out in the fields. That original vision, that literal fire that Guruji helped him see, was never, ever just about getting rich. It was about changing the destiny of his family. And against all odds, he did it. And our final section today, Section 5, Rewriting Your Own Story. Dare to think big.
Kabir's journey really comes full circle when Guruji visits him one last time. Welcoming his old teacher with deep respect, Guruji leaves him, and honestly leaves all of us, with this concluding piece of wisdom. Dreams are not measured by the money in your pocket, but by the vision in your heart. Guruji points out that the world is always going to try to make poor boys, or really anyone facing adversity, think small. But those who dare to think big, exactly like Kabir did, they rewrite the whole story. Your bank account does not dictate the size of your imagination.
And that leaves us with one final, absolutely vital question for you. What is the vision in your heart? Will you dare to think big today? Kabir started with torn shoes and empty pockets, but he protected his inner fire and he cleaned the dust of doubt through just relentless action. So I've got to ask you, what is the dust on your mirror right now? And what action are you going to take today to wipe it clean? Remember, your next chapter begins the exact moment you dare to think big. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.